Hello class, my name is Max Manley and I am going to be giving you my presentation on my midterm paper. It was covering the book Exit West and it is titled obviously Exit West and Strange Doors. So let's get right into it. So the narrative, first things first, I really felt after reading this book that there are some strong correlations to things that happen in the real world regarding immigration and refugees. I used an article titled, I Feel Lucky Millions Have Fled War-Torn Yemen. The United States has accepted 50. It's by Lauren Artani. And it's about Yemen's deteriorating war and how it's creating an emergency for refugees. And especially after the United States closed its refugee program during President Trump's policy back in 2016. And so the narrative of Exit West really validates the reality of today's refugees dispersed over the globe. It also focuses on the anti-refugee sentiment across the globe while also blaming migrants for events beyond their control, and which I find is really sad because me myself, I could never put myself in the shoes of someone, being in Yemen, for example. You can look at this picture here on your screen. These sweet, innocent kids being crammed in the back of a Mitsubishi truck with all their belongings. I can't even wrap my head around that. But I felt that you only get to this point when circumstances are unbearable, right? And the book uses doors as a telling piece, and you could use this Mitsubishi truck that, although the doors are fictional in the book, the Mitsubishi truck could be an example of a door in the book. And so I really wanted to hit on I really liked what the article said because, Saeed and Nadia, they're never terrified of what's beyond the door. Instead, they just go through it. And, you know, it attempts to dispel the misconception. And Artani backs this up, who verifies the presence of refugees in a foreign nation is it's always a question of survival rather than a matter of choice in virtually all situations, right? No one wants to leave their home country, but if it enhances your odds of survival, you have to. If you're in a nation where, there's death and, people fleeing, it's you don't want to stay there. No one would. And Nadia and Saeed attempt to safeguard their own lives, which is a normal instinct for all living things. It was never their fault, and the conflict in Yemen that tore the nation apart was never their fault either. And the sad thing is that refugees are treated so harshly when they arrive in new countries, right? Not only do they endure prejudice from the locals, but the government also attempts to regulate their movement and in a sense treats them as though they are not entitled to human rights, which is really just sickening to me. And my last point is the way the government of London handles Nadia and Saeed is no different from the way that the Trump administration treated Yemeni refugees during the 2016 presidential election. Even though the migrants are fleeing war-torn countries and require assistance, the government refuses to provide it. When Trump announced the executive order barring refugees from Yemen from entering the United States, millions were left distraught and forced to seek assistance abroad. And that's according to our Tani from our article. If you guys haven't checked it out, I would really suggest reading it. I enjoyed the read, and it was very useful in my midterm paper. And as a result, as described in the novel and the article, the government, the indigenous, and the surrounding environment are all hostile to refugees. This the article was very insightful and held Hamad's work in high respect. So I would check it out. Thank you guys so much for watching my presentation, and I look forward to reading your comments.